Shocking news has shaken the Church in recent days. A theologian removed after 23 years without a clear explanation. Now he's speaking, and so are those who say it should have been done. But the message seems disturbing. Those who don't fall into line seem destined for silence. Coincidence? Stay until the end. This news was a shock. This is how Ralph Martin, one of the most well-known Catholic theologians in the United States, commented on the communication received on Wednesday, July 23, 2025. His immediate dismissal from the Faculty of Sacred Heart Major Seminary after more than 23 years of teaching. The Archbishop of Detroit, Edward Weisenberger, broke the news to him. Martin explained, "He told me he was terminating my assignment at the seminary, effective immediately." When asked why, the Archbishop reportedly replied that he didn't think it was helpful to provide details, but he mentioned concerns about my theological perspectives. This was all stated in his written statement, released Thursday afternoon, July 24th. Martin, 82, has been a central figure at the seminary for over 2 decades, contributing to priestly formation and leading the pontifical program for the licentiate in sacred theology with a specialization in new evangelization. "I have contributed greatly to the seminary over 23 years," he added. "I even helped introduce and until recently lead our flagship program, the licentiate in sacred theology for the new evangelization." No formal accusation, no canonical process, no public protest, just a sudden, unreasoned removal communicated privately and, as Martin himself declared, without any real discussion. Yet, faced with such a serious and sudden removal, the Archdiocese of Detroit has chosen to remain silent. When contacted by the National Catholic Register and OSV News, its spokesperson, Angela Brown, stated simply that the Archdiocese does not comment on personnel matters. No canonical formula, no doctrinal note, no appeal to charity or dialogue. Just an unspoken statement and a closed door. In this institutional vacuum, the only voice left is that of Martin himself, who chose a composed, even measured tone, refusing to react with resentment. "I want what I say about this situation to be truthful," he wrote, "but I do not want to contribute unnecessarily to the current polarization in the Church." Words that convey the pain, but also the dignity with which she decided to face the injustice she suffered. No polemical reaction, no public accusations, only the silent regret of someone who was ousted, not for what he did, but for who he is. A theologian faithful to doctrine, at a time when fidelity, paradoxically, seems to have become a risk. Yet the decision carries significant symbolic weight. It affects not a marginal figure, but one of the most respected voices in the world of Orthodox theology and Catholic evangelization. Ralph Martin wasn't the only one dismissed from the Detroit Seminary. Also dismissed were Eduardo Echeverria, a 74-year-old professor of philosophy and systematic theology, and Edward Peters, a 60-year-old renowned canon lawyer. Both, like Martin, had more than 20 years of teaching experience at Sacred Heart Major Seminary. Echeverria confirmed the incident to the National Catholic Register, but declined to comment further, citing a confidentiality agreement. None of the 3 professors have been publicly accused of doctrinal errors or irregular behavior. However, well-informed observers such as the website where Peter is, have openly spoken of a manifest dissent from the magisterium, especially regarding the teachings of Pope Francis. According to these circles, the three theologians would have violated the duty established by Lumen Gentium, the Catechism, the Code of Canon Law, and the Professio Fidei to offer religious submission of intellect and will to the ordinary magisterium of the Pope, even when he does not exercise his office infallibly. In this context, Martin's public statements have come under particular scrutiny. In a January 2024 article in the National Catholic Register, he criticized a statement Francis made during an interview, the hope that hell was empty, accusing it of fueling the heresy of universalism. Martin wrote, "It plays on a widespread sympathy for a heresy called universalism, which teaches that perhaps or certainly everyone will end up in heaven." Even earlier, in 2018, he had signed a public letter supporting the accusations of Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, asking, "Have false compassion and presumption about God's mercy replaced true love, which is founded on truth and the only appropriate response to God's mercy, faith and conversion?" Echeverria too stated in 2022 that the apostolic exhortation Amoris Laetitia is not orthodox, while Peters has published numerous articles in Catholic World Report seeking, according to critics, to build canonical loopholes to question changes to the catechism or the authority of the exhortation Fiducia Supplicans. For the supporters of these removals, it is not a question of ideological repression, but of a necessary act. The accusation is precise. The three professors did not accept the truths ordinarily taught by the Pope and were therefore unsuitable for the formation of seminarians. This is the thesis advanced, among others, by Pedro Gabriel and Mike Lewis. "It is not a question of personal loyalty to the Pope," wrote the latter, "but of an objective rejection of the legitimacy and orthodoxy of magisterial teachings." But for many believers, especially in the American Catholic world, this justification seems dangerously one-sided. No modernist theologian has ever been fired for his theological perspectives, even when he openly contradicted the Catechism or the Gospel. Yet, three long-serving professors, known for their doctrinal fidelity, were removed without a single word. The paradox does not go unnoticed. As has always been the case for years now, the Church is divided over this issue too. For some, Ralph Martin's removal is a grave abuse, a disturbing sign for those who continue to defend their faith. For others, it's a right and even necessary action because it doesn't align with the new direction. But beyond opinions, one fact remains. When a theologian faithful to doctrine is silenced without formal accusation, while others, openly ambiguous or even opposed to the magisterium, remain undisturbed, the double standard becomes evident. It is those who refuse to bend, not those who create confusion, who pay the price. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.